सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। यथा नद्यः सन्द्यमानाः समुद्र अस्तम् यथा नद्यः सन्द्यमानाः समुद्रे अस्तम् गच्छन्ति नाम रूपे विहाय। यथा नद्यः सन्द्यमानाः समुद्रे अस्तम् गच्छन्ति नाम रूपे विहाय तथा विद्वान् नाम रूपाद् विमुक्तः तथा विद्वान् नाम रूपाद् विमुक्तः परात् परं पुरुषमुपैति दिव्यम् परात् परं पुरुषमुपैति दिव्यम्। सयो ह वै तत्परमं ब्रह्मवेद। नेक्स्ट मंत्र। सयो ह वै तत्परमं ब्रह्मवेद ब्रह्मैव भवति नास्य ब्रह्मवित्कुले भवति नास्य ब्रह्मवित्कुले भवति। तरति शोकं तरति पाप्मानं तरति शोकं तरति पाप्मानं गुहाग्रन्थिभ्यो विमुक्तो मृतो भवति गुहाग्रन्थिभ्यो विमुक्तो मृतो भवति। Last time we saw rivers, when they reach to ocean, they give up their identity. What is identity? Identity is nothing but name and form. Identity is nothing but the history of that given name and form. Identity is nothing but the movement of that name and form. Identity is nothing but the path of that river before reaching the ocean. So when they give up nama rupa vihaya, when they meet the ocean, then they give up the names and form. They lose their identity. That means that they become simply H2O, which they were. It was only water before. When it rained, it was there in the cloud, but now we called it river. If that water was in a shape of a round shape, in a pool, we would have called it at some sarovar, different thing. But then it got a name, that water got a name called river because of name and form. It's just a name to a flowing flow of water for that particular form. They lose their name and form. So also wise person gives up the name and form. Samudre astam gachanti vihaya namarupa vidwan namarupat vimukta. Look at the word. In the first line, he says that the rivers flowing in various directions disappear in the ocean. How? Vihaya namarupa. They give up by giving up the names and the form. What is the case with a wise person? He doesn't vihaya. He says vimukta, becoming free from the name and form. Understand? When the knowledge takes place, wise person cannot give up the name and form. The form, the body, the upadhi will continue because of the prarabdha. So he is vihaya. He doesn't say vihaya, vimukta. He becomes free from the names and form. In fact, Atma was ever free from name and form. The union of Atma with name and form, the association of Atma with name and form, this name and form means physio-psycho-complex, was only in terms of ignorance. Born out of ignorance. Born out of ignorance, born identification with the body-mind complex. That identification, he becomes free. Becomes free means he realizes, I am not physio-psycho-complex, I am Satchidananda Swarupa, Atmaham Asmi. And this name and form is just incidental to me. That's not intrinsic to me. I have nothing to do with the name and form. It doesn't belong to me Swarupata, intrinsically. It is incidental. That is called, he becomes free. That is freedom caused by viveka. Freedom caused by knowledge, appreciation of the fact, appreciation of the nature of oneself. Therefore, he or she becomes free and gains parat param purusham upaiti divyam. He gains the self that is beyond, superior, that is beyond Maya. We have seen when para shabda is used twice. The first one is Maya. It is beyond Maya. He gains the Purusha which is beyond Maya. Beyond Maya means what? That Purusha which is uncontaminated, untouched, unaffected by Maya. He gains that Purusha. That Purusha. Asangha Purusha. Prapnoti. Prapnoti means Atmanam Asanga Rupena Janati Ityartaha. He knows himself to be Asanga. That discovery takes place in the light of knowledge, and therefore he or she becomes free. Last mantra, let us see. Next one, which we read today. Sayo havai tat paramam brahma veda brahmaiva bhavati. Sayo havai tat paramam brahma veda saha brahmaiva bhavati. Okay. Then what he says? He says, the one who knows Brahman, Sa and Ha, these are indeclinable words. The one who indeed knows with clarity. So there is a clarity and definitively, two things. Clearly, that means free from doubts, and definitely means free from errors. That means one knows because of mananam. The person has done mananam to remove the doubt. That gives the clarity about the knowledge. and one who knows definitely. Definitely means there is no error. There are no habitual errors. There is no inhibitions to the knowledge. One who knows. What he knows? Paramam Brahma. That Brahman, Tat, that Brahman which was talked in a previous mantras, one who knows that Brahman, Tasya Kule, one who definitely and clearly knows. Paramam means limitless. Brahman. It is not just knowing that Brahman is limitless. It is knowing the fact that I am limitless Brahman. One who knows that, Saha Brahma Veda Brahmaiva Bhavati. He becomes Brahman itself. The Saha Vai Tat Paramam Brahma Veda Brahmaiva Bhavati. The one who knows Brahman becomes Brahman. We have to understand the word becomes. We'll see. First of all, let us look at the meaning of the words. Na asya abrahmavit kule bhavati. Na asya kule abrahmavit bhavati. He said, in such person's family, kule, in his family, which person? One who has become Brahman. Tasya kule abrahmavit na bhavati. There is no one is there who does not know Brahman. That means one who knows Brahman in his family or his family will certainly know Brahman. Okay? So there is no one who will not know Brahman or who does not know Brahman. And then Tarati Shokam. Tarati, he crosses the grief. Tarati Papa Papmanam. He crosses all the papas. He becomes free from papa. He or she becomes free from grief, shoka. Then Guha Granthibhyo Vimukto Amruto Bhavati. Vimukta, he becomes released from Granthibhya, from the knots. Knots are from, which release from the knots. Which knots? Guha Granthibhya. Guha literally or direct meaning of the word guha is cave. But here implied meaning is buddhi or heart. In context of this Upanishad's previous mantra, Vidyate Hridaya Granthi Chidyante Sarva Samshaya. In that context, this person becomes released from all the knots of the heart and Amruto Bhavati. He becomes immortal. Namrutaha. He or she becomes free from death and he becomes Ananda. Word Amruta has two meanings: freedom from birth and death, and freedom from unhappiness, freedom from limitations. So he becomes Ananda, or he becomes free from the jaws of the death. Let us look at now the mantra. What does the Shruti say? Sayo havai tat paramam brahma. The one who definitely and clearly knows. Clarity means what? When the Brahman is known through Shravana. Vedanto nama Upanishad Pramana. Atma vare Shrotavya. When you says heard, it means Guru Mukhat Shrotavya. You have to listen to Atma from a competent teacher. Guru Mukhat. Now when it is heard, and then that knowledge should become free from doubts and error. What are the doubts? Doubts posed by one's own intellect or doubt posed by someone else. Some darshanas also. or someone acquaintance with whom he or she shares the knowledge, or at the time of Shravanam, because of the Shraddha upon the teacher, fellow got some clarity, some understanding, but buddhi is dull. It is not sharp enough to see the things through and through. And therefore, after the class, there is a feeling, Swamiji was great today in the class. But what about you? I am there, Asanga Atma, as I was. So the point is, some people need to have clarity. And then the habitual error for beginningless time, we have been taking ourselves as a physio-psycho complex. I've been looking upon myself as this, as an upadhi. Upadhi has become the subject. Anatma has become Atma, and that identification, as they call, as you can say, orientation, is so strong that even when there is some clarity, the knowledge gets inhibited by some obstacles. The wisdom is obstructed, and the fruits of the wisdoms are not gained. At that time, one has to do nididhyasana. And that nididhyasanam, having done nididhyasanam for sufficient time, the knowledge becomes definite. Yes, I am this. No doubt and no error. You know, it is that nididhyasanam. I came across a beautiful example, which I quoted in Rishikesh camp also. This barbers, the barber has an association. So barber association wanted to raise funds. So they said, let us enact Ramayana. They enacted Ramayana. They decided to play the Ramayana. One of the old guy who was quite old with beard, white beard and all. So he was obviously the obvious choice for becoming Dasharatha. Because old, and Dasharatha was old and looked like that. And another boy, another little person, another person was made Vishwamitra. As the story goes, Vishwamitra comes to Dasharatha's court, uninvited. Suddenly he comes. And having seen him in the court, Dasharatha was so overtaken by emotion of being blessed that he said to him, so many janma punya karma, so punyas of so many births have fructified today. Tell me, what can I do for? Aapki mein kya seva karu? That's the original Ramayana. And then he said, what can I do for you? I am available at your service. My wives are available at your service, whatever you want. My whole kingdom is available. My army is available. My minister is available. My subject, like that, he had to say a few words, sentences. So in the play, this Vishwamitra came suddenly. And he was told that to become overpowered by this emotion of being blessed. So he showed that emotion. Oh, I am so blessed by so many janma punyas have fructified. I really don't deserve this. Person of your stature coming to my palace, uninvited. Even after invitation, you generally don't come. Coming uninvited, I don't have no words for myself, and I am so indebted to you. I feel so gratified by mere your presence and arrival. Tell me, what can I do? Should I give you clean shave? Should I cut the hair? Should I shampoo the fellow, because of habit, kept telling what he was telling in the shop. This is called the error in the knowledge, habitual. The fellow knows कि साहब वो तो मेरा वाल चंपी करिए आपू शैम्पू ना आपी आपू कापी आपू दाढ़ी कर दो सो कर दो अपनी सु सेवा कर. That was not the agenda, but he uttered that. Then he realized I can do. He was a smart guy. I can do all this also. And he made the word. He corrected. But the point is, this is called habitual error. Being a barber, all throughout the life, he has been telling this to clients. He thought I have to say the same thing, habitually say. That habit has to be addressed. One has to grow out of habit, own up the knowledge that you should be definite in who am I. And that definitiveness is gained by nididhyasa. So when it is said here in this mantra, okay, Sayo Havai Veda, Brahma, Veda, the one who knows Brahman like this, with clarity and definitely, that means here is a person who has done a lot of mananam and lot of nididhyasana. Manana and nididhyasana is gone by, means he or she has lived a life committed to pursuit of moksha. In other words, a life which is of sannyasa, that mind which is free enough, that the mind which is moksha as the priority. There is some inner leisure to revel in the Vedantic study. There is some inner space to commit myself to Shastra. That is a person. Sahayavai Veda, Paramam Brahma Veda. Not Brahman, but Paramam Brahma. Paramam doesn't mean Supreme Brahman, who knows Supreme Brahman. Paramam means limitless. This is the wrong translation. Parabrahma, Supreme Brahman. Supreme consciousness. There is no supreme consciousness. When you say supreme, that becomes a comparative. Understand? There is no supreme in consciousness. Why? There is no other thing. Had there been other thing, then you compare it with. But whatever so-called other is mithya, other is apparent. So where is the question of comparison and using the word supreme being and supreme consciousness, supreme self? Self is limitless, that's all. Not supreme. So one who knows this limitless self, he or she becomes limitless self. Tat paramam saha yo vai tat paramam brahma veda brahmaiva bhavati. That limitless Brahman. Now, when you say supreme, then this question, how the knower of supreme Brahman became supreme? And as I said, there cannot be any comparative for Brahman because it is non-dual. So, right word is limitless Brahman. One who knows limitless Brahman becomes limitless, becomes Brahman. Knower of the Brahman becomes Brahman. How? Because that Brahman is known as I. It is not knowledge like those Panditas. They keep chanting the Vedas, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Yo Veda Nihitam Gayam Parame Pyaman Yo Ash. Like that, you will know that Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. But it is not, when we say knowing, we mean knowing as self. I know myself as limitless Brahman. And then when I know myself to be limitless Brahman, I become limitless. Listen, the word becoming. There is no becoming. Because when I know I am limitless, I don't become limitless. It is a discovery of a fact. It is not making of some fact. I am limitless. And if I am limitless, it cannot exclude anything. When I know I am limitless Brahman, That means limitless means nothing is excluded, and therefore I become Brahman, becomes limitless Brahman. When limit becomes limitless means what? It is with reference to what I was thought to be. Earlier, I was taken as limit. Earlier, I was thought to be unhappy, conditioned by time, space, and objectivity. Now the discovery is there that I am limitless. Therefore, becoming. It is again incidental becoming. There is no becoming. You cannot become infinity. If there is infinity, it is you. And if it is you, and you feel I am limited, that means there is a problem of self-ignorance. You need to discover that, yes, I am limitless. And that is why it is figuratively said, in context with the previous condition, when person was driven by ignorance, driven by likes and dislikes, to that person, he has to become Brahman. So he becomes limitless in context of that. But that self, which was limited, which was unhappy, was born out of ignorance. On removal of ignorance, as though you become that. On removal of the self-ignorance about who am I, Karna as though became a prince. There is no becoming, he is. He thought himself to be the son of a charioteer, that's all. And when the true knowledge dawned upon him, he discovered, I am not that, I am the king. That's it. Similarly, one who knows that he becomes Param Brahma. Okay? Then, na asya kule, no one in his family, abrahmavit bhavati, will be ignorant about the self. Okay? No one who does not know Brahman. Why? First understand the word kula, family. If the wise person is a teacher, sannyasi having few disciples, and he discovers that means all the sannyasis or brahmacharis which are studying under him, that is his kula. Guru, that is why the word is Gurukula, family of the Guru. When the family means what? All the students who looked upon Guru as the entire family. How they look upon? They look upon as Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva, Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva, Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva. So that person has to discover this is what I am. And that discovery makes him become that. So the knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. Why? Because knower is Brahman. That's why Brahmavid bhavati. Tasya kule abrahmavid na bhavati. In his family, that means in his Gurukulam, there would be nobody who doesn't know the self. How do you say so? How do you say that in his family there is nobody will become like that? First of all, to be born as a human being is the greatest punya. Out of these 84 lakhs yonis, you become a human being. Why? It is only in this janma there is a possibility of self-knowledge. Why there is a possibility of self-knowledge? Because we are the only one who have the buddhi. And since we have the buddhi, we can gain the knowledge. That's why it's a punya janma. Okay. Secondly, to be born as a Hindu is a more punya. And thirdly, to gain a guru who can teach and teach and make the students see the fact which the teacher sees. So that is also extra punya. And that punya will take him to assimilation or owning up of the knowledge which is free from doubts and error. Okay. So in his kule, and if he is a grahastha, then pita putra parampara. If it is a guru, sannyasi, then it is shishya, guru shishya parampara. Whatever guru knows, that is known to shishya. And he is given. Gadipati, he is the next legal heir. But he will not, also, no one in the family will become a Brahmavid. Why? Because, as I said, to be born as a human is punya, to be born as such a family which gets the samskar of Vedanta, exposure to Vedanta, is a great punya. Otherwise, in spiritual Walmart, you can get lost into some meditation or some seva and something like that, all that is going on. All psychology. No. He got stuck with the right teacher and his yoginam kule bhavati dhimata, Bhagavan says, nahi kalyanakrit kaschit durgatim tata gacchati prapya punyakrutan lokan ushitva shashvati samaha shuchinam shrimatam gehe yogo bhavati dukha or athva yoginam eva kule bhavati dhimata. He is born like that. And there tatratam buddhi sanyogam labhate paurvade. He gets connected to those samskaras, that those desires about the moksha which he had left in a previous janma. He gets connected and he starts the new life from there. So, therefore, he is tasya kule abrahmavid na bhavati, because the person will grow up in those atmosphere where this knowledge is implanted or knowledge is live. Okay. And this person, and nasti, because there is a mantra in Upanishad, ananya prokte gatiratra nasti. When Guru is Shrotiya Brahmanistha, he or she reveals Brahman as a self, there is no avagati, there is no possibility of you not knowing. You can't afford to miss this knowledge. But still, inhibitions are there. Lack of sharpness or subtlety of the buddhi is there. And because of that lack, he may need to do it again and again. That's a separate thing. But here, Tarati Shokamatma, he crosses the Shoka. First of all, Tarati Papa, Atma. That's what he says. Tarati Shokam, Tarati Papa. He crosses the grief. The grief is product of ignorance, nothing else. And then ignorance having been removed, he becomes free from grief. Therefore, Tarati Shokam, Tarati Papa. He crosses papas. That means that he becomes free from the sins. He becomes free from punyas also. Papa doesn't mean only Papa. Papa also means punya karma. He becomes free from any kind of punya papa. It's all sanchita karmas that are there, accumulated for him, that is bypassed. Swami says, it is like bypassing the artery. So he just bypass and goes straight to moksha. Or it is better like Indian airports. They are kind enough. Local airlines, when you are the only passenger left out, they will come to security and shout, Indigo, Indigo, Pune, Jet Ahmedabad, Jet Ahmedabad. You raise your hand. You are in a queue. Then you are made to bypass everything. And straightway you are taken to the airport. Your luggage also, screening takes place faster. So Punya Papa is bypassed. How like passenger, last minute passenger, you have to add in India, in domestic airlines, not in US or other country. They don't care for you. You should come early, full stop. And even public are also kind. Suppose they are in a queue and you say, I have a flight, people will let you go. Come on, you go ahead first of all. You have a flight. So they appreciate Indians are more busier than anyone else in the world. And they are more conscious of not wasting the time in the airport, just whiling away the time waiting for the flight. So they come at the end moment only. So that is called bypassing. Punya and Papa. Why it is bypassed? Because the Ahankara, who created all Punya Papa, is no more there. So he has only prarabdha to exhaust, no more karma phalas to exhaust. Guha grantibhyaha vimukto bhavati. Grantibhyaha, guha. The heart or buddhi is called cave. Again, this is lakshartha you have to take. Cave. Doesn't mean there is a literal cave inside. Cave signifies darkness. And darkness is a symbol of ignorance. So Guha Granthi, all the knots caused by ignorance or ignorance based knots are what? Guha Grantibhyaha Vimukto Bhavati. He becomes free from all the knots of the heart. Heart means buddhi. Buddhi takes this nishya, somehow takes itself to be non-separate from physio-psycho complex. That upadhi traya vilakshana ahamasmi. Sula sukshma karana sharirat vilakshana ahamasmi. That knowledge takes place. And to take myself to be physio-psycho complex is a granthi, is a knot. By not of Yushma then Ashma. I and non-I are united out of ignorance. As I said, darkness is a symbol for ignorance. Therefore, light is a symbol for knowledge. People in India keep telling, in any public function you go, it is our tradition to light the lamp. But why it is a tradition? You should know the spirit of the form. Nobody knows, and then you perform it as a ritual. And then I say, why it is a tradition? We don't know, Swamiji. But we have to do all this because public wants it. That's it. They say, no. When I say granthi of the intellect, that means adhyasa. Ignorance caused superimposition of I on non-I. What is I? Non-I. So the stula sukshma sharira is taken as I. That is adhyasa. That is negated. Therefore, mukto bhavati. That is negated and that is a cause for further bondage. That is a cause for further complications. And that if the ambition is there, they want that. That is called samsara chakra. Anyway. So, Guha Grantibhyaha Tarati Vikiradati. He crosses over Sukha and Dukkha. Tarati Shokam Atmavit. Tarati Shokam Atma. There is one more mantra. We'll see in the next week. And then complete the text. I hope to finish it by 15th and 16th. Okay? Namaste. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।